morning, afternoon, freaks. It's 1:39. The working week is kind of done. I have a couple of clients tomorrow, but generally speaking, it's done. Today is Fix Me Fridays, which means that I help you fix your injuries. Now, if you have any injuries that you would like me to fix from a physiotherapy perspective kind of thing, let me know in the comments below and we will do that next week. Now, today, we got 2 injuries. Both of them actually were Achilles related stuff. So we're going to go deep today on Achilles related injuries because they're super bloody interesting. But I thought I would update you guys on what's actually been going on with my hip. So my hip started giving me burning pains in August last year, 2024. And I've basically been dealing with that on and off for the last 6-7 months, whatever that is. Now, I went to a sports doctor and we did some scans and we found that the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve was actually like 2 or 3 times the size of what it should have been. Essentially, the sheath on the outside of it is really inflamed for whatever reason. It just got dark all of a sudden. For whatever reason, this nerve has been super inflamed, and actually running itself does not cause it any pain at all. It's mostly sitting around or lying around or basically not moving. I start to get really annoying, nagging, burning pains. And so we've come to the conclusion that we've tried every other method of treatment except what do they call it? So they call it 2 things: a radiofrequency ablation, I think, or a rhizolysis. Essentially what they're going to do is they're going to go into this nerve and they're going to cauterize it using some sort of electrical impulse, and that's going to stop giving me these insanely annoying burning pains through my quad. Now, this nerve is actually only sensory. It's not any motor output. It's only sensation. And so I would much rather deal with, altered sensation and it not being unbelievably painful than burning pains constantly throughout my entire life. So in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be getting that procedure done. It's like just basically a needle that goes in and then gives me a little zap, and then I'm good to go. So hopefully that is the end of these burning pain issues, because I'm basically sick of it and there's nothing that I can do to fix this issue other than the next step, which is this. So I'm going to see you guys when I get home in about 4 minutes. So here is this month's experiment. Last month we did protein and collagen stuff. This week, or this month, magnesium. Let me know in the comments below if you've actually used this stuff and if it even does anything. I don't really know. So injury number 1. Did you already talk about Achilles tendonitis? New super shoes drop is very low than my normal running shoes. Boom. Discovery of a new pain in my left mid Achilles tendon. That's question number 1. Question number 2 from Instagram. Follow me on Instagram if you're not already doing that. Achilles tendon long-term chronic issue started around June 2024, right in the middle of the tendon. Please help. Okay. Let's talk about tendons. Okay. Now, the Achilles tendon is this one right here. So it runs from the calcaneus bone, which is the heel bone essentially. So when the calf contracts, the Achilles gets pulled in this direction, which pushes the heel bone down, which brings the foot down. And that is really important for running really fast. Now, the tricky thing about tendons is, well, they're tricky, especially the Achilles. Now, the Achilles tendon, I like to break it up into 2 different kind of pathologies because they both have different kind of treatment approaches. And luckily, we have both different kinds of tendon issues this week in the questions, which is amazing. Okay, so pathology number 1 is what I call like the acute tendon pain. So something happens and this tendon pain comes on, and usually at this stage it's probably around 1 or 2 weeks before you eventually cave in and talk to a physiotherapist or someone, maybe even talk to me on YouTube about what's actually going on. It usually takes people about a week to 2 weeks to finally accept that they have some acute tendon pathology. Now, what's happened is you've done something and your tendon has actually increased in size to actually try and get stronger and accommodate the load that you're putting on it. Essentially, you're putting way too much load through that tendon, and it dumps all of these waste products and inflammation and stuff in the actual tendon itself. And that is not ideal for tendon healing. So what we have to do is take away what is causing that huge spike in tendon inflammation and remodeling. Okay, it's usually an increase in training load. It could be like this person said, it could be a change in footwear that's just overloading that tendon all of a sudden. All we have to do is very, very simple. Just rest for a couple of days to a week. Maybe do some easy cross training, maybe do some walking or some hiking, something that's going to actually offload that tendon and allow it to actually relax and this remodeling process to actually begin, and so that tendon can actually get stronger. Okay, it's the same thing as doing a hard session and then having a rest day before doing another hard session. We need to give our body time to actually adapt to the load. Now, we've put too much load through it, and so we need more time to actually adapt. Okay, if we don't do this, then we're in trouble. So there's two scenarios here. The first scenario is that we live happily ever after. We actually rest when we should, and everything is all good. The tendon goes back to being happy and normal. The second scenario is that we don't rest properly and we let it go for too long. The body actually goes into a different kind of pathology cycle. So in the initial phase, it actually attempted to heal and we didn't allow it to because we kept running, okay? So we're gonna enter this, what I call like disrepair. So its attempt to repair has been unsuccessful, and interestingly, the tendon actually reduces in swelling, which is kind of weird, right? But this is just what happens. The pain usually stays somewhere around the same, but what's essentially happening is your body is not being allowed to heal, and so now the tendon tissue itself is starting to lose its integrity, okay? What we can see on a microscope, if we were to put your tendon under a microscope, theoretically, we would see that the actual cells, the tenocytes, the cells of the tendon itself go from this round kind of looking shape to more of an oblong shape. Very strange, but the cell structure actually changes, okay? This is not ideal, and this is unhealthy tendon tissue. So our goal in this phase is to get this tendon back under control. So here's my super generalized tendon protocol for the Achilles to slowly progress you from really easy, sustainable exercises all the way back to return to running. Now, you're going to fit somewhere along this spectrum of exercises. I don't really know where, everyone's different, but generally speaking, this will get you from point A to point B to point C, and then eventually to gradually returning to running. Now, the thing is most people just continue running anyway, and they end up with multi-year histories of Achilles issues, and maybe even snapping that Achilles in half at some point. I hope that never happens to me. I watched it in a movie. It was in Kill Bill the other day, and someone's Achilles gets like cut in the movie, and it's like the most sickening thing ever to think about that actually happening to you. So we have to take care of our tendon, and most importantly, not get stabbed in the tendon, I guess. But anyway, so step one is the double leg calf raise isometric. This is where you stand both feet up nice and tall, and you just hold that position, okay? This is not a muscular loading exercise. This is a tendon loading exercise, and so they want different things to increase in their strength. So double leg calf raise isometric. Then we're going to go to a single leg calf raise isometric where we hold that same position. Then we're going to do a single leg calf raise with weight. So we're going to start to get some movement of the ankle in this calf raise position, but we're going to start to add some weight progressively over time, okay? What we want to see is that our tendons are getting stronger over time, because that's really important. Now, we are hoping to get to the point where we can do with weight a full calf raise off a step, meaning that we can go all the way down and then all the way back up without any issues. Once we're at that point, we can continue doing that stuff, but we can start to add in some plyometrics. So what we're going to do on one day is we're going to continue with the tendon loading stuff initially that we've done, and then we're going to add in this second day where we're going to be doing some landing and some jumping and stuff like that, preparing ourselves for running, okay? So double leg land, all you have to do is find some sort of step maybe, and just hop down and land on both feet, and then just relax and do it again and again and again. Once you're getting comfortable with that landing process and there's no pain and no flare-ups, then we can start to do some repeated jumps, okay? Where we have both feet on the ground, we do repeated jumps, so 2 jumps in a row, then 3, then 4. Hopefully, we can get to the point where we can do like 10 jumps in a row. Once we're around there, then we can start to do our single leg land. So we find that same step again, we do a single leg land on the ground, and then we can start to progress that to repeated single leg hops. Running is single leg hopping. So we have our really conservative tendon strength work, and then we've built on top of that our single leg plyometric progression. And then what we're going to do is build on top of that again, and we're going to add in a gradual return to running. This could start with 30-second jogs up to 1-minute jogs, and then 2-minute, and then 5, and on and on and on until you're back to training really consistently and you're getting PBs, okay? That is how we graduate all the way through an acute tendon pathology, fucking it up, getting a disrepair tendon pathology, and how we can get ourselves out of that hole, okay? If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you have any injuries, let me know in the comments below too. If you want me to adapt this same kind of protocol to another tendon issue that you might potentially have, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to just say anything else in the comments, let me know in the comments below too. Bye.